Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Ashish Hariharan, and today we are going to see whether we have to avoid Chinese smartphones or not. As you know, there are a lot of accusations on China regarding the coronavirus by many countries, which I won't go in detail. And Indians are trying to retaliate to China by avoiding Chinese smartphones. Well, is avoiding Chinese smartphones really the way to retaliate to China? Is it actually good and practical? Well, let's see about this in this video.
First, let us see what are the Chinese smartphone brands. Xiaomi, which also has its sub-brands like Redmi, Poco and Black Shark, and Oppo, Realme and OnePlus, whose parent organization is BBK Electronics. Motorola and Lenovo, which is owned by Lenovo, and Infinix, and Huawei, which also has a sub-brand known as Honor.
And now let us have a small recap of the Indian smartphone market before the entry of Chinese phones. Before the entry of Chinese phones in India, Indian brands like Micromax, Lava, Intel, Spice had ruled the Indian smartphone market. And in 2015, Micromax had overpowered Samsung to become the number one smartphone brand in India. But after the entry of Chinese phones like Xiaomi's, especially Xiaomi's sub-brand Redmi, it had almost wiped the Indian smartphone market, and therefore now the Micromax market share in smartphone is almost negligible. People had preferred Chinese brands like Xiaomi because they provided more good quality smartphones and in a cheaper price. The reason why Micromax weren't able to give good quality phones was that they hadn't had any manufacturing center and research and development center that can be shortly called as R&D centers. What Micromax did is that they had went to China and had just bought the most hot selling phone from China and had brought it to India and had rebranded it in the name of their company and had sold it to Indians to a profit margin of 20 to 30%. Whereas if you see Chinese brands, they had almost reduced their profit very low, especially Xiaomi, which has a profit percentage less than 5%, and had good quality hardware and software on it. And now it is time for the most awaited topic of whether we have to avoid Chinese smartphones or not. As you see, even though the owners of companies like Oppo, Realme, OnePlus, Xiaomi, Infinix, Honor are Chinese, their manufacturing centers and R&D centers, that is the research and development centers, are present in India. So therefore, if you are trying to avoid buying a Chinese smartphone, India is going to lose a lot of labor, from daily laborers to engineers. So therefore, if you think that avoiding Chinese smartphones are going to hurt China, that is in the case. It's actually like digging a burial for yourself. So if you don't buy a Chinese smartphone, there are a lot of Indians who are going to lose their job. And still, if you are reluctant to buy a Chinese smartphone, you may go for brands like Samsung, which is from South Korea, and Asus, which is from Taiwan, and Nokia from Finland, and Apple, whose headquarters is in America. Even though these smartphone brands are in Chinese, most of the smartphone brands buy their components, that is the smartphone components, from China. So therefore I can say there is no phone which isn't actually Chinese. We can take the example of Apple, which imports all the smartphone components from China and assembles those smartphone components in California.
In this video, we also have a bonus topic.
Whether Indian brands would come back or not. Me personally, I don't think Indian brands would come back, as they still don't have a manufacturing center and a research and development center. And if you see at their market share in India, it is almost negligible. So I don't think they would come back considering these factors. But as I can't predict anything, and anything would change in the future. Well, that's today's video. If you had liked my video, do hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.